Good morning from sunny Ojai, California. Today I am actually going to talk about anxiety, triggers, and fears, which manifest in all of us at times. We can say that they don't, that our lives are perfect, but then we're really not being true to our true selves. Personally, I've been feeling a lot of anxiety and fear over the past couple months that I haven't been able to understand. I basically spent most of my life since I was a young girl reading self-help books, spirituality books, as well as the Bible, which are great tools to be able to navigate the turbulent waters of life. But yet at times we all kind of feel anxiety and fear. Sometimes there are triggers within us that we don't even know why we're being triggered, but we can just feel it. It manifests in our body, whether it's in our stomach, our hearts, our minds. And what do we do to kind of escape those triggers or those experiences? It's really not about escaping those experiences. It's more about processing through them. If we hold on to the hurt, the anger, the fear, it pretty much will eat away at our bodies, our minds, our spirits, and it'll bring our energy level down low. Sometimes we have to do almost the opposite in order to get through those anxieties and fears. So we have to understand, have awareness of why we're being triggered and what we need to learn from those experiences in order to not continue on the cycles. For example, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And that's what life and history, if you see what's going on in the world today, is basically doing the same thing, just in a different context. But we really can't focus on the outside world at this point. I mean, you can, but it all starts from within. How we feel about ourselves and our own conditioning of how we interact with our community and how we treat ourselves is very important. We can compare ourselves to other people. We can constantly strive for success monetarily, physically, but ultimately it's how we feel inside and how we connect with people that ultimately what matters. I've been feeling a lot of fear for the past couple months and anxiety, and I haven't been able to understand where it's coming from. I've always been very empathic, so if I'm in certain situations, from environments that have a lot of electrical stimulations. I live in normally an area in southeastern Connecticut, so there's a lot of casinos and a lot of tribal land, so sometimes you kind of pick up on that energy. So it's like always trying to consciously free ourselves from those negative experiences or negative energy that gets us trapped. But when it comes to anxiety and fear, it's how we process it. We can't escape it. As humans, it's just going to happen. There's going to be circumstances and triggers that are going to be passed down to us from our environment, from our ancestors, that cause us to react in certain ways. And we have to consciously stop and assess why we react the way we do, and see if it's actually good for our soul. And sometimes it takes a long time of repeating the same bad patterns over and over again before we kind of get to those bottom points, those epiphany points, where we can actually consciously change our ways of thinking. We can spend our whole life reading self-help books. I mean, obviously, if you're looking into wellness or you're looking at this video, you've probably read a few self-help books at least in your life. And ultimately, they're kind of all the same in a certain context from what I've experienced. They're all great and have different authors, and they're trying to help each other, or they're trying to help us. But when it comes down to self-help books and how we respond to anxiety and fear, it's a personal relationship that we have to have with being able to process the fears and anxiety. Nobody can tell you what to do and how to fix yourself. You have to kind of connect with your own intuition and your own guidance. It's to connect with God, your higher power, to be able to process what's going on in our bodies. Ultimately, what I've realized that a lot of things that we have in our life, whether they be trigger points or health issues, are stemmed from our ancestors. For example, if we are in an environment where we have a very turbulent upbringing, it's going to affect how we process and interact with people, work, situations, life. And if our parents and grandparents are living in turbulent times, when their energy and what they feel ultimately will affect us subconsciously, cellularly. And sometimes we can kind of search for the answers outside, but we have the answers for what we're experiencing on the inside. It's connecting with our intuition. This might be a little over your head, especially for a lot of people that don't really think to this level. But if you ever understand how humans, we are energy, can't be created or destroyed, we've existed since the beginning of time, it's basically we have to process our feelings and understand our triggers in order to change the way we react to certain circumstances. So, for example, if we have a lot of substance abuse in our family and we get angry a lot and we have emotional issues, if we go and drink a lot or do drugs, it's going to affect us chemically more than if we had people that aren't exposed to substance abuse in their family. Same thing with our ancestors. There's a lot of people that have had almost, you could say, family curses that have been passed down generation to generation. And sometimes we feel that within our body, or we get to places and things trigger us and we don't understand why we react the way we do. But it's almost like we have to come to the conclusion that we have to have the awareness of what's going on and then consciously choose whether or not we should feed into that trigger and find out where it's coming from. And then if it's not something that we need to have in our lives right now, whether it be people, places, circumstances, we have to kind of consciously push them away and say, does this feed my soul? Does this person feed my soul? Does this job feed my soul? And sometimes, I hate to say it, you can't get rid of all of our people in our lives that we don't want to, that don't feed our soul. I mean, we could try, but then we'll be really isolated on our own islands alone. Same thing with our job circumstances. Sometimes you need to have certain jobs in order to pay your bills. And in society today, it's very, I guess it's different to be able to live the way we want to live. We have to sometimes sacrifice in certain areas, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't need to focus all your energy and all your attention on people and circumstances and jobs that don't fill your soul. It's kind of like you have to have that balance of what you need to fill your own cup up with in order to make life more balanced. So if you have people in your life that aren't helping contribute to your success and don't make you feel good, it doesn't mean you just shut them out of your life completely. It just means that you have to kind of guard your heart. There's a saying that you have to guard your heart from the people and be able to love and accept yourselves and learn how to stand true to yourself and say no to circumstances and people, and fill up your own cup and not let it consume you energetically. And realize that we all have bad days, we all have great days, and it's just part of life. So enjoy the journey of life. Be aware of your thoughts, because nobody else is in control of how your reactions to your thoughts except yourself. You can read tons of books, and you can go to teachers, gurus, whoever you decide that you think has the answers, but the answers come from within. The truth lies within each of us, and it's time to stop and think and be aware and quiet your mind, meditate, pray, to be able to get the clarity that you need in life. Nobody has the answers for your journey, for your life, except you. So stop, breathe, take a deep breath, and as you breathe in, push your stomach out. And when you breathe out, push your stomach in. And as you do that, you can help gain clarity in your life, calm your mind, your anxiety, those fears down. And just remember, when things get out of control, you have control. Breathe, focus, stop, listen, and just let everything be.